come on the Dorset Stour today. It's still quite a bit coloured. It's up at probably over a foot. The wind's quite nasty. It's skimming downstream with a northwesterly. I've mixed up some gross gardon, some colmic groundbait and some breadcrumb. Got a slice of bread here and a punch. Nice big float on there, 6 grams, taking 6 grams, big olivette, size 14. Going to fish a sizable punch. I'm going to try and tackle this downstream wind. It's going to be difficult trying to hold it back and easing it through. I'm hoping that the river's nice and clear down there, that the weed has gone. We've had 2 good floods. It's been over the banks, so I think it's fairly promising from that point of view. Certainly a bright day, and see if we can catch a roach or 2. When it's like this, you need a bit of confidence in what you're doing. I know I can catch fish out there. It's just a matter of whether they're really going to show up. So let's get fishing. I've guessed the depth at around 9 foot. I may be a bit deeper. This isn't the deepest part of this area of the Stour, but I'm hoping that'll be somewhere close. And I think the shot's right. I've got a nice big olivette there, 4.5 gram olivette, some shot around it, a mini bulk of, I think it's 3 number 4 and a couple of number 8s on the hook length. I'm going to put the ground bait in fairly hard, try and get it down, so you'll hear quite a splash. As long as I don't fish out too far, I should be able to control the line. It would be hard to fish down the middle today. I think I'm a little bit too deep, but not much. Kick-start the swim, I'm going to put in ground bait every cast for a little while. And it might take 20 minutes if I am going to get any bites. We'll have to see. I think I'm just tripping the bottom there, but I'll persevere at that depth. Oh, I had a fish and lost it. So the fish are there, that's a good sign. I think I had a bite second cast, and definitely a fish then. It'd be nice to catch a good one today. Whether I will or not's another matter. Just taken another inch off the deck, not very much. I might put another shot on there in a minute just to fine tune it. Colour's not too bad. You see about 4 or 5 inches into the water, which is not quite pea soup or milky tea, but it's certainly fining down. I'm going to try out a little bit further out, not too far because of this wind. I know these fish are here because I've lost one, but they're playing a bit hard to get at the moment. The wind is trying to push a bow towards me, trying to bow the line, so the float tends to drift into the bank. Right, definitely a bite as well. First fish of the day are not very big. A small roach. I've only come out for an hour or so, and a day like this, just to catch a fish is going to be a bonus. And it feels like his brother, another small one. These are very small. Although they're not very big, it's proving that I can catch fish in these difficult conditions. As a pleasure angler, you can often choose your swim so you don't get downstream winds. As a match angler, this is the sort of stretch you used to fish many years ago. Certainly used to fish matches on here. But if the wind's whistling down the river, then you just have to fish it. They all seem to be of a size at the moment, not very big. One phenomena that you get with the wind is that often around about 10 o'clock the wind gets a bit stronger. As the sun gathers strength for the day, the wind picks up, the earth is warming up, and the wind, you get a stronger wind. And in match fishing terms, when you'd often fish 10 till 3, you'd find that you'd tackle up at 9 o'clock, 9:15, nice flat calm river, you think this will be lovely, 5 number 4 stick, and at about 10:15 you've just started fishing, it's all going lovely, the wind picks up, and that's exactly what it's doing now. It's about 10:25 and the wind's got a bit worse. It's on and off, it's not constant, and I can certainly cope with it. I did fish one match on here in the early 80s, Wareham against Wimborne, and the wind was a force 11 that day down the river. It was absolutely horrendous, and somehow we all plugged away and we caught a few dace. We all struggled, and it was so strong that my keep net, the wind caught hold of the net with the fish in the water, like £1.5 a little dace, and blew it up, so it was actually up the bank behind me. I didn't lose the fish, but it lifted the net, it got into the neck of the net and lifted it out of the water behind me. And that same day, Dave George, who fished with Downton and Ringwood later on, was fishing a match on Throop, and he drew a well-known bream hole near Bosley Weir. I can't remember if that was the day. He fished it twice in over a couple of years in the same match, and the first time he had 68 pounds of small bream, and then the bream had got bigger and he had 111 pounds of bream, which I think is still a Ringwood club record. And certainly on one of those days, maybe in the 111 pound, he knew exactly what he was doing, but just about everyone else packed up. It was just so windy. It was the same day that we were on here in the gale. Certainly be nice to catch one that needed a landing net. That time I was getting nibbles, they didn't quite take it. I think I'm going to put another little shot on the line, just a number 6, or number 8, just put a number 8 just above the Olivet. See if that holds the float down a bit better. That wind has got up now. This is the 10:30 wind with a vengeance now. But like I say, I haven't blanked. It's not the end of the world. Just be nice to get one decent fish of a pound and go home happy then. Float sat a bit better then. The float dipped and bobbed and then got the fish. Fractionally bigger than the ones I've been getting. Let's see if we can land it. Well, I say fractionally, 1/4 ounce bigger. Again, there's a place where the ground bait's settling, and that's where the bites start to develop. This one's actually pulling back, which probably means it's about 4 ounces, not an ounce. There's just a chance that given time I get one worth a landing net. Taken a while, but that's the first one worth a landing net, and it's about 5 ounces. But if there's a 5 ounce one out there, maybe there's a pounder. Punch I'm using is about 8 or 9 millimeters. I've got a fine wire Drennan barbless silverfish hook on here with a 0.10, so fairly fine. Fairly positive. I think if I put a tiny hook on there, like an 18 with bread punch, much more likely to just get tiny ones. There are days when the little punch will get the bigger roach. With it coloured, I'm hoping for something a bit bigger. When the wind drops, it's not too bad at all. Another monster of the deep. So keeping my finger on the spool at all times, and then just occasionally letting a bit of line off, controlling it. That wind's quite horrible at the moment. Having had a 10-minute lull, it's blowing harder than ever. Fish are there. Yet another tiddler. In this case, a bleak. I think this ground bait mix with some coal mick is more of a small fish mix rather than the gross guard-on that I normally use. I tried it last week and had some small roach. Didn't really find the bigger ones. Once it's used up, I'll go back to gross guard-on. There's some other venues. When the river settles down, I need to get on those. So finger on the spool, mending the line, trying to keep it in a straight line despite this horrible wind. So I'm holding that float back, not totally stopping it, but just easing it through, watching for the bites to develop. Not easy to see, there's a lot of reflections down there, the wind ripple as well. And then it goes. A bit of bread punch on there. Pick up a ball of ground bait. Do it nice and hard, just to get down and throw it in. It's been quite hard work this morning. Fished for about an hour and a half. I'd getting on for 20 fish, all roach, one little bleak, a couple about 6 ounces. I think there's better fish there. I think this ground bait's one that attracts smaller fish. Get on a better ground bait next time. It's early days yet, the river hasn't cleared its muck yet. But hopefully get some good roach sport this winter. Been quite pleasant this morning despite the wind. I've had very few boats, a couple of canoes, that's all. And seen 1 or 2 cormorants, seen the kingfisher twice, there's some long-tailed tits. Water rail out there. Hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been good fun making it for a couple of hours out in the sunshine. And I'll see you next time.